Ever feel like you're a mystery, even to yourself? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to hand you 5 keys to unlock that mystery. Get ready to see yourself and pretty much everyone around you in a completely new light.
Have you ever just stopped and wondered, why did I react like that? Why do certain things just set me off? Or what about this one? Why is it that some habits, no matter how hard you try, just seem to have this iron grip on you that you just can't shake? And oh, that feeling, that sinking feeling, when you realize you've done it again. You've fallen into the same old pattern, repeating a mistake you swore to yourself you would never make again. So what's the deal? Well, the answer to all of those questions is kind of the same. A huge chunk of your life isn't actually being controlled by you. It's being steered by these powerful invisible forces that you're probably not even aware of. In psychology, these forces are called perspectives, but don't let the technical term throw you off. Just think of them as different scientific lenses, each one designed to look at the human mind and our behavior from a really unique angle to help us figure out, what makes us tick. Let me give you a super simple way to think about this. Imagine 5 people standing around a single mountain. The person on one side sees a steep, rocky cliff. Somebody else, on the other side, sees a gentle, wooded slope. Now, are they all looking at the same mountain? Absolutely. But what they see is completely different. These psychological lenses work in the exact same way. All right, let's grab our first lens. This one looks inward, deep inside the body. This is the biological perspective, and it argues that to really understand the mind, you have to first understand the machine that it runs on. The core idea here is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Everything you think, feel, and do, it all begins as a biological event inside your body. So this lens, it's all about the hardware. Think of that little rush you get from a phone notification. Yep, that's dopamine. Or the known link between low serotonin and depression. It even looks at the personality traits you inherited from your family. And the most powerful insight here? Sometimes your struggles aren't a matter of willpower or weakness. It's just your brain's chemistry. But your internal chemistry is only half the story. The next lens shifts our focus from what's happening inside you to what's happening to you. This is the behavioral perspective. This lens argues that you are basically a product of your experiences. Who you are today has been molded and shaped by the world around you since the day you were born. And the way this works is surprisingly simple: rewards and punishments. If you get praised for doing something, you'll probably do it again. If you touch a hot stove, you learn to avoid it pretty quick. The core idea is that you aren't born with most of your habits, you are trained into them. And the most hopeful part, what has been learned can be unlearned. Okay, so we've looked at our biology and we've looked at our environment, but what about that story we're always telling ourselves? Well, perspective 3 takes us right inside our own minds. This is the cognitive perspective, and it is all about the incredible power of your thoughts. This is just a perfect example. The event itself, failing an exam, is neutral. It's just a fact, right? But the interpretation of that fact is everything. The thought, I'm useless, leads to feelings of hopelessness. But the thought, I need to improve, that leads to action and growth. It's the same situation, but totally different outcomes, all because of a different thought pattern. The takeaway here is a total game changer. The events in your life don't define you. Your interpretation of those events does. If you can master your thoughts, you can master your reality. Okay, now we're going to dive into the deep end. This next lens, pioneered by none other than Sigmund Freud, suggests that the most powerful influences on your behavior are actually the ones you can't even see. This is the psychodynamic perspective. You've probably seen this iceberg analogy, and for good reason. What you're aware of, your conscious thoughts and feelings, that's just the tiny little tip. The real driver, the massive submerged part of the iceberg, is your unconscious mind. And it's filled with buried childhood experiences, hidden fears, and deep-seated desires that are shaping your actions without you even realizing it. Our final lens offers a very different, and for a lot of people, a very hopeful view. This is the humanistic perspective. And it's all about your potential and your power to choose. So after a few perspectives that might make you feel like a product of your past or your biology, this one puts the controls firmly back in your hands. It says you're not a puppet, you have the power of choice, you have free will. And this is the inspiring takeaway. This perspective believes every single person has an innate drive to grow and become their best self. You aren't a finished product, and you're certainly not broken.
You are a work in progress. You are always becoming.
Okay, so we've just looked at 5 completely different ways to explain human behavior. We've got our brain chemistry, our learned habits, our thoughts, our unconscious mind, and our free will. That leads to the big question, which one is actually correct? The truth is, asking which one is right is actually the wrong question. Remember our mountain? You can't understand its true nature by only looking from one spot. To see the whole picture of who you are, you need all 5 lenses. Each one holds a critical piece of the puzzle. We've just handed you 5 powerful new lenses to view your own mind. So the final question isn't for me to answer, it's for you. The next time you react or fall into an old habit, ask yourself, which lens am I looking through right now?